All right, we are back with another edition of the Joe Burrow Fan Club podcast. Just kidding, Jimmy. Today we're going to discuss what villains Joe Burrow would be better at defeating than Batman. Your thoughts, Jimmy? All right,
Better than Batman.
basically better than one Who You Got podcast is two. So we told you we'd bring you two this week. So we're back with a second one because, look, the reason we're doing it, just to be transparent, Jimmy's Knicks are in the finals, so we're going to give him multiple times to talk over the next 2 weeks, this week and next. We'll do a couple shows because we want to feel what Jimmy's feeling. You got to be pretty happy with game one. It went back and forth a little bit. Hart didn't play that great of a game, but Brunson, my God, I've been saying it on this podcast for a while. I think he's an all-time great already.
Yeah, he is fantastic. If you look at his stats in the postseason, they're actually better than the regular season. See, talk about Mr. Clutch. He averages 26 points in the regular season. He averages 29 points, just under 30 points in the postseason, and that's over the course of like 57 games or something. I mean, it's almost the whole season worth of data you can pull from that. I think if they win it all, he's for sure a great all-time Knick. He probably already is. And the fact that, took a team-friendly contract so they could build a team around him is going to go far with fans, especially if it works and it brings him a title. So
I heard a lot of back and forth on this, not, believe it or not on New York radio, but on VSiN and national radio about the Mount Rushmore of Knicks and his Brunson on it. Now, if I remember correctly, you grew up not a Knicks fan, then you moved out here and you became a Knicks fan as you were more local, right?
yeah, I was. I won't get in depth at it. Like there was, I think, a section of us that are our age that didn't grow up like you, like with a Boston in their background, that were just diehard Michael Jordan fans, right? Like we didn't know anything. I found him when I was in second grade. So my allegiance was like to Michael Jordan all the way through high school. And then after that, I was lost. So I started following teams. I like Sacramento because I'm a Michigan guy and Weber went there. Then I lived in Orlando. But you follow players. When I got here, the Knicks were bad. I got all their games on local. They've been were bad for a long time, so it didn't feel bandwagony. I watched a lot of local games. I had friends that were Knicks fans, and now I will be a Knicks fan for good.
Yeah, see, I grew up smack dab in the middle of Boston and New York City, literally 90 miles one way, 90 miles the other way. So where I grew up, you were a New York fan, a Boston fan, or what you just said, the national fan. So they were Bulls fans, Knicks fans, Celtics fans. They were Giants fans, San Francisco or Cowboy fans, and Patriot fans. Like Red Sox fan, Yankee fan was basically a split down the middle. And then no one really cared about hockey, I'll be honest. When I was growing up, it was Bruins, Rangers, and no one really talked about it. But the reason I brought that up is because you don't have the full, 45 years of our lives to where you were really zoned in on the Knicks. And then, obviously your dad probably wasn't a Knicks fan where you get to the 70s history because they were great in the 70s. Because my Mount Rushmore, you got to put Ewing there.
Yep.
Right. And then I'm almost like, I got to go all the way back to the 70s. Or I don't put Starks there. I know people were saying that. I'm sorry. He wasn't that good.
No, Starks doesn't go there.
Like after Ewing, I don't even know where I go unless I go back to the 70s, right?
Well, you have to go back to the 70s, and I think that's the big problem. None of us were born yet. And oddly enough, my mother was a basketball fan, and she was a Knicks fan in the 90s. So that was another reason. I have a Ewing jersey that was hers that I have now. That's a little too small, but I've got it in a drawer So like I had a little bit of a connection to the Knicks, but certainly in my last 13 years here, so I can't go through the whole suffering, sadness, and do it. But man, have I been a big Knicks fan since. But I don't know because we weren't around. So they all say you've got to go obviously back to those days. But after Ewing, Brunson, and the 70s guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you're more, as anyone who listens to the show knows, you're more conservative with your teams than I am, and I'm more, I'll go right out on a limb. I don't care because I'll be wrong 99% of the time. But I've been saying even since last year that this Brunson could be one of the more underrated players in the NBA, especially when it comes to clutch time and leading his team. And I think he proved me right in game one. I don't know who else in the league I want in the fourth quarter to have the ball.
That's been the discussion, and I don't know that there is anybody currently that you'd rather, the ball in their hands. I mean, who are you going to give it to? Brunson.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just because he's reliable and he's going to make the shot more times than not. It's because you watch him. He's a grade A chucker, by the way. I mean, he's never seen a shot he doesn't like, but he's not afraid to shoot, and that's what I like. Like he's not afraid. Give me the ball and let's move on with life.
No, and he's got multiple tricks in his bag. He can shoot the three. He can get inside. He's got a great Euro step. Right. He doesn't draw fouls. Like he used to do a lot of the running down, hitting the brakes, and you get hit from behind. They kind of got that out of the game, so you don't see him doing that anymore to draw fouls. But he's got enough. He's got enough tricks in his bag, and to your point, he's not scared. That was the knock on Harden. Was it's not that he plays bad in these big games. He doesn't play. He doesn't show like that's what we were knocking what's his name on OKC for? Like he did Chet. He didn't show up. He shot 2 shots. Jalen believed in himself. Yeah, Jalen will get hot. When I'm watching him and he's not playing well, I'm like, well, this won't last, or it won't last multiple games. This postseason, it hasn't lasted really a single game. I mean, he didn't shoot great last game, but he had a great fourth quarter, right? Brought him back. That fourth quarter, and any Knicks fan that tells you they weren't is full of shit. But when they were up 8, San Antonio comes back, goes up 1. At that point, you've got to be worried, and then the Knicks just go on a huge, just go on and toast them the rest of the game.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, I I've said it on the show. I'm on the Knicks to win this championship. I've bet them multiple times. I got them in a lot of plays. I thought it was over. I said, all right, game 1. And that kind of segues me into my next, like, I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this. I've talked to a few Knicks fans because, look, we're from this area. I work in New York City a lot. So I've talked to a lot of Knicks fans over the last couple of days. And I got to tell you, Jimmy, your fan base is a little greedy, looking for another win tonight. I said, you already did your job. It's free. It's house money tonight.
Yeah, it is a little greedy. I think the idea that is if you get the win tonight and you go up 2-0 and you're coming back to the Garden and you've got this really, like the youngest team around coming to Madison Square Garden down 2-0, like you could plan, but like that's the theory. You start planning the parade, right? Which I don't fully agree with. I think that is even putting the cart before the horse. They just beat OKC in a game 7. But I understand, like, why not keep the streak alive? What I think, when we're not picking the game now, but the fact that Vegas, what do you make of that? Has the Knicks, after a 12-game run, after just beating them, a bigger dog in game 2 than they had them in game 1 at 6.5?
Yeah, so I'll answer that. I think that's Vegas protecting itself a little bit, going, all right, if we make this 3.5, they're going to hammer the Spurs because they think it's a bounce back spot. Wemby played bad. We might as well put that line a little higher because we're going to wind up lowering it anyways. But I'll tell you what, Jimmy, Vegas was spot on because the money's coming in on the Spurs all day.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, look, I could see a blowout by the Spurs. They come back, they just get hot. They're that talented that it could happen. But if it's a close game, the Knicks will win.
I think the other problem is we haven't seen many close games in the playoffs within a 7-point spread. So if you're given 3.5 or 6.5, what's the difference? Maybe Vegas said, you know what, 6.5 might be a little bit more attractive to people like Jimmy. So let's throw 6.5 out there. Maybe we'll get his $50 bet and we'll pull that in.
I mean, that makes sense. I just don't think it's not big enough. I mean, I would just bet the money line, probably. I'd bet the Knicks money line.
I mean, again, the NBA playoffs this year have been great. Don't get me wrong. The Knicks going on a run, the Spurs going on a run has, I think, drawn people in. But we haven't had a ton of close games like the NHL. You see, like what we'll get to it. The bananas that happened last night, even in Game 1. The Stanley Cup playoffs have been crazy with these close games.
Yeah.
So we'll get to our pick later. But yeah, I mean, I thought Game 1 showed you that what we've been saying on this podcast, that the Knicks are for real, and people who thought the Spurs were just going to go win in 4 or 5 are out of their effing minds. And now, for the first time this year, the Knicks are favored to win the NBA championship.
Yep, sure are.
I got them 12-1, but that was 6 weeks ago or whatever.
Yeah. 12-1. I mean, you could have got them 40 when we were on this podcast when they were going through that losing streak. They got way up. What was it, Jimmy? 25-30-1 at one point.
Yeah.
And they got as high as, I think it was 6-1 to win the East, but because everybody just anointed the West, either the Spurs or OKC or even Minnesota at one point, the NBA champions. The East you could have got at great numbers, except the Celtics.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think I took them like the second to last game they were playing Atlanta, like sometime towards the end of the game.
Yeah, that's probably where you got them 12.
They were already in there. They'd already demolished a playoff team a couple of times, and still they were 12-1.
Because the Celtics were still alive, and everyone just thought the Celtics would win in 7, no problem. They'll beat the Sixers, we'll move on. So, I mean, It's going to be fascinating to see what happens. Again, I think it's house money for the Knicks tonight. If they go up 2-0, I think you can start engraving the trophy, and it probably is Knicks in. And Knicks might sweep, I'll say, if they win tonight. If not, it's definitely Knicks in 6. That's my opinion.
What are the odds on that?
First win tonight, it's either, in my opinion, it's either Knicks in 6 or Spurs in 7.
What are the odds on Knicks in 6 right now? Does anybody have that handy? I'm just curious.
I'm sure, yeah.
That's a pretty good bet.
We'll pull that up in the second half when we get to the actual betting odds. I'll pull it up while Jimmy's talking about UFC, so I'm good to go. But while we're on basketball, I got to tell you, I read this story, and I said, you know what, I gotta look into this because, you know, Ryan's always telling us how great Caitlin Clark is, and me and Jimmy are more Angel Reese people. But we listen to Ryan's takes on Caitlin, and I saw the little spat, or the headlines of the spat on the sideline with the coach. And I'll be honest, I immediately said, all right, Caitlin's being a little bit of a jerk here. And then I watched the clip. This Stephanie White needs to know her place. Caitlin is the reason people are coming to games. Don't ever take her out again. She didn't even do anything. She basically just put her hands up and tried to say what she was doing on the court, and she immediately ripped her out of the huddle and said, go sit and put someone else in.
She made her move. She made her physically move. I mean, I've never even heard of that.
She's your whole team. So no one's there to see you, Stephanie. I don't even know you are. I know that you were good. I just read an article. They say you were good. I've never heard of you. And I can guarantee you 99.9% of the USA population doesn't know who you are. Where a majority of the population knows the name Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, she's not Taylor Swift, but she's definitely up there with little girls. They all know.
100%. So I got to tell you, after watching that clip, and I know I put it on our notes for this show that we were going to talk about it, I thought I was going to go in here and slam Caitlin Clark until I actually researched it. This coach is an absolute dope, and I hope she gets fired. Jimmy, did you look into this at all?
I did. I mean, I think the problem is, and I don't have any great examples of previous, but it seems like Caitlin is getting known to be a little bit of a whiner, so to speak. And I think that's probably why this went a little bit viral. But she is why people come. She's the best thing that's happened to WNBA, and yeah.
So I'm not going to try and fight you or convince you on your opinion there. I would just say, if that were me, and from the way outside looking in, I know nothing about what they go through day to day or the perks or lack thereof in the WNBA. But I would say she spent an entire year getting the ever-loving shit kicked out of her every time she took the court, and no one started doing anything about it till this year. And at the time, she didn't have the teammates to help her out. Her teammates were like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I get your point. My whole thing with Caitlin Clark is, I think she's a great player. I thought she was an awesome story in college because she was playing for Iowa, who was an underdog. But everyone anointed her the greatest women's basketball player of all time. And I'll sit here again today and tell you, once again, she shouldn't be mentioned in the same breath as Diana Taurasi.
Or Shamika
until I can take that sentence back and say, all right, maybe she should be, I can't listen to all she's the greatest ever.
It's not just them. There's a bunch of very good women's players. I mean, not just the UConn players, but Shamika Holtzclaw from Tennessee. I mean, Dawn Staley was a monster. Cheryl Swoops was a monster. I mean, I'm going back in time here. And there's all sorts of people in the 2000s that were certainly good. And just like we don't do with the men, why are we anointing her, first ballot Hall of Famer after half season or a season now, season and a half?
Yeah, we don't confuse potential with accomplishments.
We go time out here for Jimmy. We're going to ask Jimmy a question. Jimmy already owes a dinner, but Jimmy, I will buy you a nice bourbon before our dinner if you can tell me where Cheryl Swoops played in college.
I know.
And me too.
I know how many she scored in the final.
Well, that's pretty good.
I'm going to guess she played for UConn.
That's funny, though.
Ryan,
I like your
tell them where she played.
Both of us from Connecticut. She played for Texas Tech.
Oh, okay.
And I believe she scored 45 in the finals. 45 30 years ago was she might as well have scored 150.
Yeah, pretty great.
45. Yep, but Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Oh, you know what? I know I'm going to go off script here, Jimmy. Sorry. Jimmy's going to yell at me after the show. Who won last night? Did Texas Tech move it on, or Texas won the national championship?
Texas won the national championship with former high school basketball teammate of Caitlin Clark, Tegan Cavan.
No kidding, yeah.
Who came in the sixth and just destroyed him. She went 2 innings, three up, 3 down, 5 out of 6 strikeouts.
Well done, Lady Horns.
Yeah, they
All
hooked
right,
them.
NHL time. What did you boys think of the first two games? Because I thought I'll give you my take, and then I'll throw it to Ryan, who's chomping at the bit to talk hockey. Game one, Ryan was texting because he was so happy Carolina was out of the gates, and then obviously Vegas did what they do, and that's go on scoring runs, and they take game one 5-4. They came out awesome last night. For 45 minutes, they look like start engraving the cup. And then Carolina came back, actually goes up scores 3 goals in under 10 minutes, goes up 3-2. Vegas comes back and ties it, and then an absolute absurd call in overtime to give them a power play for Carolina, and Carolina wins 4-3. You can't call that tripping call, not in the game 2 of the Stanley Cup. Sorry, I can't do it. This could be a series flipper, and that's my concern with a bet on Vegas, because you can't let them off the hook up 2-0 with 9 minutes and 59 seconds to go. You can't. I know you watched it, Ryan. What were your thoughts?
I had Vegas. They were up 2-0, and then I turned it back on, flipping back and forth between the softball and it's 3-3, and I just pulled my hair out. I had over 5.5 and Vegas money line, and I was very upset. I didn't watch as much of yesterday's game as I did the first game, and it's just amazing to me how fast these guys are and how good both these teams are. The speed at which they move the puck through the middle of the ice is amazing. The opportunities with those one-timers that particularly Carolina's just slamming the back of the net, it's crazy. And I remember watching, through the playoffs this year, there have been some teams with some questionable goalkeeping, right? Was it the Wild that were exceptionally bad? And then Lukanen was somewhere else, I think, and he was not great. But the goaltending's been excellent, even though they've been scoring a lot.
Well, I think the problem is Corey Hart's got to not let 3 goals in. That's the problem, right? I mean, Corey Hart's been good in stretches, but game 1 wasn't his best, and game 2, he looked like he was playing like the Corey Hart who played in the Avs series, and then the last 10 minutes happened.
Well, there have been a couple goals, and I was flipping back and forth, so apologies. But the one that flipped in, I don't even know what hole you call that, when it's above your left hip, below your elbow, whatever. It's not the 5 hole, it's not the 1 hole, whatever hole that is. That 4, okay. That was a tough one because he was fully screened. That one-timer that, the guy touched it 3 inches from the line and slapped it home. It was the pass. The lazy pass over the middle that caused that was a big problem. They often are passing this puck so hard. You cannot hit lazy passes through mid-ice with the caliber of people that are on these teams. They take so much advantage.
I think Tortorella made a big mistake, too, last night. Now, I was watching, and I thought that was a goal, even though they waved it off immediately. It looked like he poked it in, and he didn't interfere. He didn't push the goaltender into the net. It looked like his guy stabbed at it, poked it into the net. It probably should have been a good goal. But the risk to challenge that and put Carolina on the power play and give him the opportunity to tie the game was not a good call by Tortorella.
Yeah, in hindsight, it certainly doesn't look good. But I thought I actually watched the whole game, and the 2 goals by Howden were phenomenal. The way he used his body to box him, when they flip the puck out, he uses his body to basically box him out, gets over the line without being offsides. And what a goal the first goal was. The second goal was just as impressive, the body control around. And I thought the same thing. I thought they're going to roll. They got the 2 goals. I'm like, they got the 3rd power play. I'm like, this is over. Then Vegas comes back and ties it up. I'm like, all right, maybe the momentum has shifted back and Tortorella will be off the hook. Not so much. But it was a hell of a game. I'm interested to see who's got the momentum now. Does that completely shoot Vegas in the foot, or, hey, they still split on the road and they'll be in good shape?
Yeah. Yeah, They come home 1-1. They got the job done. They got the split. So it's funny how they have Carolina, again, a big favorite to – not a big favorite, but a favorite to win the Stanley Cup. I thought it would have been 110 because a home ice, but no, I think current odds, Jimmy, is 140-ish for Montreal in the series. Let's see. It is 145 Carolina at DraftKings. Seems a little high for me. Are you going to give me the Knights at home? I still like the Knights.
Yeah.
I know that's not, I already bet them, so of course I'm going to like them. But, I don't know the love that they have for the Hurricanes in the sports books. I still don't understand it.
Is there any update on McNabb's injury?
I don't think there is yet.
That was a hell of a puck to the grill.
Right in the grill. All right. Jimmy, give us a little UFC. You can give us a breakdown. We'll give our picks, or you can give your picks now. We'll recap them at the end of the show.
Yeah, so I mean, we broke it down on the last show, so I won't do a full breakdown. I just got a bonus. I got a bonus pick here.
As you go into it, fight. Is this a fight night or an actual numbered thing?
No, this is a fight night, but it's one of the better fight nights because you're getting Bilal Muhammad fighting in the main event, who was a champion at 170. So we broke this down last time. I'm going to pick Gabriel Bonfim. You're now getting minus 110 on both sides. Bilal Muhammad is a great fighter, and he fights 170, which is kind of like the in between where like you can fight a little older. 155, 145. The older fighters don't last. The heavier weights, they're not as quick. Power goes last. They can fight later into life. But Bilal's 37 now. Bonfim is a really good fighter. So he only has one loss. So I'm going to take Bonfim. Bilal's lost his last couple fights. Granted, he lost his belt to JDM. He lost to Ian Machado Gary, who's fighting for a title. But I think Bonfim's going to get the job done. I also think you can lay the 185 on Brandon Allen. It's a lot to lay, but I think he gets it done. We talked about that last round. And then last but not least, Bryce Mitchell and Santiago Luna. This is a huge step up in competition for Luna. He's the up-and-comer, but Bryce Mitchell is really tough, and I think this is only his second fight after dropping down to 135, and you only have to lay 130. He's a great wrestler. He's a little bit of put some weird stuff out there on social media, let's say that. But he's really, really tough, and he's strong for 135, and he seems to be able to keep up. But my bonus thing, and you can't really bet this because of the odds, is if you're watching, the fifth fight of the night is this guy, Baranowski. If you go back and watch his last couple fights, this fight is going to be wild. The fight to go the distance, the no is minus 1,400. So if you want to see a fight where there's going to be a finish, one way or the other, this is it. His 2 fights ago, he fought this guy Aslan, and it's 60 seconds. It's worth watching. They were just throwing haymakers, and he gets him out of there. And then he came back and fought Lane. He's 8-0. He's finished every fight he's been in. He subbed the first 2, and he's knocked out the last 6. They don't. As of now, you can't even bet him to win by knockout, and he's minus 410 on the money line. But so there's really no pick there. But that's a fight worth turning into for, because you're only going to probably have to watch for 2 minutes, and you're going to see some wild action there. Right. So watch Baranowski.
Throw a parlay.
Yeah, you could throw him in a parlay. The problem is he leaves himself open, but it's never not worked so far. And he's fighting Junior Tafa, who's got, I think, 5 or 6 losses. So yeah, put that in with something else. Maybe you pair him with what's his name, Brandon Allen at minus 185. It'll probably get you close to even money. I'll tell you exactly right now. That would get you to. It's not giving it to me right now for some reason, but it'll probably get you close. So yeah. Anyway, that's one that's just worth watching, because if you go back and watch Baranowski's some of his fights, it's a fun one. So that's the UFC for this week. Next week we're gonna have a longer breakdown. We'll have UFC 250.
All right,
Freedom 250.
Question for you, because this is a story I wrote down. The Ronda Rousey. I don't know. I'm sure because you follow the shit. Who is Holly Holm? And here's my question to you as the expert here is. Mm-hmm. Ronda Rousey, first, I don't like how she goes, well, I'm retired. Just keep that in mind. But then she makes a statement, I would clean her fucking clock right now. Give me a little background. I know they fought in 2015 and Rousey lost, but give me a little background here. Who's Holly Holm? How old is she? Could this fight actually happen?
Holly's old now. I don't know exactly how old. She's got to be close to 40. So Holly I remember this fight very clearly. Holly was the first person, when Ronda was the big star, she was arm barring everybody. Nobody could stop her. Holly came in and beat the crap out of her, just like as it was a boxer, and just beat her up on her feet and kind of exposed Ronda. That was like the beginning of the end for Ronda. Let me figure out if I can quickly find out how old Holly Holm is. But Holly afterwards was like, she was good, but then she was born in 81. There you go. Class of 81. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so that, I mean, that's a tough one, right? Like, she is older. She's a striker. Has she slowed down too much? Could Ronda now go in there and get her? I mean, is it cool that Ronda's talking shit about somebody that old that whooped her ass? I don't know. I think that, she couldn't hang with the big punchers after that. But she was still a relevant fighter for quite a while. But yeah, she was the one that really.
She was a boxing
that took her out.
That's the big thing about her.
Yeah.
Like, And if you figured out how to stop the armbar someday, right? Like, because that's what Rousey, as Jimmy said, like she was just killing people who didn't know judo. Like it was over and over, just like she did in that last fight, which I don't think that was a real fight personally. But regardless, like that's what would happen when people didn't know what was going to happen. It was that quick. It would be a minute, 2 minutes, and all of a sudden she's got your arm and you're done.
Yep.
Do you think the fight would ever happen? 45 and 39?
No.
I mean, or is Ronda just talking shit?
Well, I think money talks, right?
This last contest with Ronda was a joke. I mean, it was over in 17 seconds. Is that what it was, Jimmy?
Yeah, something like that. Like, and that was my point. Nobody gets caught in arm bars anymore at all. Like, you know, it's not a thing that happens.
Yeah,
it's not a thing that happens to people anymore. And she caught her in it. And I'm not saying it was a setup. I'm just saying like it wasn't maybe a fair fight.
I'll go on the other side of that coin. I think it was a setup. I think that's the first time I've seen UFC really throw in the towel and go, listen, we got these two in the ring. They don't want to hurt each other. We're not going to cancel the fight. But, like, it was way too fast. For someone that experienced.
Holly hasn't fought. No, you're right. Holly hasn't fought in the UFC in 2 years, since 24. She lost. She lost in 20. She got subbed twice. She won before that. She beat Santos. That's why she was still fighting. She win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. You know. So, yeah, she fought Chris Cyborg to a decision, which was impressive. She came back and won a fight. But then Amanda Nunes knocked her out. I mean, Amanda Nunes knocked everybody out. So she was like, she beat everybody but the biggest names. And then she got, you know, she turned 42. And, you know, like you're going to start losing to smaller names. So, I would still think that there's a chance that she could beat Ronda if she can still box, but you know how much is her speed taking a hit, and you know Ronda couldn't get her down that first fight. That's for sure. Ronda got beat up. Like Ronda got if you go back and watch Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey, it wasn't like
well, Ronda never knew how to strike when she first started. Like she literally was doing what Randy Couture did. She was like ducking boxers. Just if you touch them, you're good. But if they're staying back and circling and you know doing all the bobbing and weaving stuff, you're having a good jab. Those people like those guys are in trouble. But if they get their hands on you, their hands are so strong and their grappling skills are so impressive that you're in trouble now. So
yeah, she knocked her out in the second round.
Okay.
And if you watch the video,
and then Ronda got just absolutely annihilated by Amanda Nunes in the first round, like a minute in. Yeah. Yeah, Ronda got tuned up her last two fights in the UFC. Like,
well, that's
badly.
What I was reading when I was like, all right, I'm going to ask Jimmy about this Holly Holmes fight, and it sounds like you know at the end of Ronda's career, it did not go well for her.
No, she got destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to something people actually care about, and that's Belmont Stakes Day. We got tomorrow. We got some horse racing. We got them coming down the stretch right now. Jimmy, in the 7th race at Saratoga. I got the 8, and it is about to pass the 3, who I almost bet because of the name. It's Bourbon Day. They are in an absolute war. Here comes the 7. Come on, 8. Can I get a goddamn win today? At the wire, we got a 3-way photo. I think it's the 8. All right. If you're not betting, I'm telling you right now, FanDuel, what a promotion. $20 win-back specials. If your horse comes in second or third, depending on how many horses are in the race, you get your money back. And if you want to know why I love horse racing, Jimmy always goes, go watch this knockout. And no one does. And I'm going to say something. I know no one's going to go watch it. Go watch today's 4th race, the Bed of Roses. Ways and Means was the 3-horse. Watch this horse, and that's why I love horse racing. That's why I love horse racing.
I'm in Jersey.
It got turned away twice. Got turned away twice. And then the third time, it just got him right at the wire in a head bob. And, God, I love Ways and Means. She's such a great horse. All right.
Hey, wait.
So we got
I'm in Jersey. No ponies betting here?
Jersey's the worst state ever for horse racing. It's like you got to talk to Jimmy. It's like there's like one app allowed in Jersey. It's the worst. It's whatever the Monmouth app is. That's what it allows you to do. So the 8-1. So good job. All right. Tomorrow, we got journalism back in the 11th race. So the stakes is the 13th, but in the 11th race, we got journalism back. It's not going to be the favorite. Nios is going to go off the favorite, the Bob Baffert horse. But you can get a nice price in a 7-horse race on journalism in the 11th. And then in the Belmont Stakes, God, I look at it, I'm going back and forth. You know me, I'm stubborn. I liked Wallaby in the Derby, and it's hard for me to not go right back to the well and say, because I don't trust Golden Tempo. I don't. I don't think you're going to get fair odds on them. I'm certainly not betting Renegade, because Renegade might go off even money. Renegade is going to get all the money here. It's only a 9-horse field. This was the horse we thought might win the Derby. Right now it's 6-5 because you can advance bet the Derby. So advance bet the stakes. I am not going to bet Renegade. And again, I should have started it this way. Remember, this is a 1.25 miles. It's not the traditional Belmont Stakes. It's not the 1.5 miles. We'll be back to that next year at Big Sandy. I'm going to do it again, Jimmy. I'm going Chief Wallaby to win the Belmont Stakes. And then if you want a longer shot, I would tell you to go with the 8 in Emerging Market. Those would be my plays for the stakes. And then I love Journalism in the 11. That's all I'm going to give you because Jimmy says you don't care. I would normally give you a pick 4 or pick 5. I do it for you right here. I put it together, give you a nice little ticket, but Jimmy says nobody cares. No one's going to bet it. So you blame him if you don't like it. So that's all we're going to do for horse racing today. You can write us at whoyougot33@gmail.com. If you don't like Jimmy telling me to shut it down with horse racing, and I'll give you more because we got some good summer racing coming. Del Mar's going to open. Jimmy should appreciate Del Mar more because it's where his wife grew up, but he has no care for Del Mar, which makes me mad. And Saratoga season will be here in July, and I'll have some stuff to say about that. We got some big races out there. It's my favorite time of year. So if you want some more horse racing, email us at whoyougot33.com, and we'll give you whatever breakdown you want. I'll be happy to do it. But we'll go back to real sports now. We'll go to MLB. Jimmy, you think we're getting a strike in 2027?
I mean, it seems likely. That's all the reports seem to point in that direction, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this. I love the fact that they want to do a floor and say, hey, you know what, Tampa? If you want to be a professional franchise, you have to spend $171 million on payroll or fuck off. That I love. I don't like the $245 million cap. I don't like that. If the Dodgers want to spend $400 million, let them spend $400 million. But I do like, hey, Tampa, Kansas City, all you other pricks, you have to spend $171 million or get out of this league.
Absolutely. I'm sorry to jump in there.
Go ahead, please.
There's got to be a minimum. It's embarrassing that certain teams are spending, I don't know the current numbers, but I've looked in the past.
Yeah, $45 million? Get out of here.
It's less sometimes. What is it, 31? It's like, you got to be kidding me that this whole team is making less as a total payroll than one pitcher on one.
Than one player. One player on the Mets.
Yeah. One player on any of the top 10 teams, all of them have a $40 million player, right? All of them. It's crazy. It just makes for a bad product. And I'm not
makes for a bad product, exactly. And if you're considering expansion at all to 32 teams, you have to put a floor in.
I think
I agree. That's where I was going. I didn't want to jump to topics, but that I agree with that. Like the problem that I have with the expansion is that half the teams can't fund themselves and become competitive.
100%, Jimmy. You're not competitive now at the bottom of the league. How are you going to add 2 more teams? Because I'd love to see Montreal come back, but you need exactly what they're trying to do. You need a floor. I don't know if you need a ceiling, but you need a floor.
Right. And if you're going to fill a stadium, like the top 2 cities right now are Sacramento, or no, it's not Sacramento. It's Salt Lake City.
Charlotte, Montreal, Oakland, Nashville are the top 4.
Yep. Yeah. And right now I think Nashville and Salt Lake City are the leading the way. And that, I guess that sort of makes sense because there's not probably they don't have extreme alliances. Like if you go to Sacramento, everybody likes the Giants already, right? Or they were A's fans. If you go to some of these other places,
you can't go back to Oakland, Jimmy. Like you can't go back.
Well, no, but I mean they're talking about Sacramento. In Sacramento, everybody already likes the Giants. They're a much bigger city. Salt Lake City's small, but I guess they have no alliance. I'd like to see Montreal, but if they're not going to support them, what does it matter?
As a guy who, as you both know, goes to Disney a lot and knows Orlando pretty well, I think the heat is tremendous there, but it is in other parts of the country too that we have parks. You can make an indoor stadium, but I'll tell you, Orlando would do tremendous with a baseball team because of the tourism. Go see a game. The Braves spring training, you can barely get in.
Yeah, but they just need to move the Rays to Orlando.
Or you could do that. Yeah, that's not a bad call.
Yeah, like move the Rays to Orlando,
Or move them to Tampa because they're not Tampa, everyone. They're St. Pete's.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Right.
That's the
Yeah, I
problem.
mean,
They're the Tampa Bay Rays that play in St. Pete's over the bridge. Put them in Tampa, they'll be fine.
yeah. I think that you're right. I mean, if you could find a way to pull tourists in, but I don't know. That's the issue with expansion is you can't fill these smaller markets. The major markets have a team already. What are you going to do? Maybe that's why they think again Nashville, because they may not have an allegiance to another team, and you might be able to build that fan base up, and it's a growing city. And I don't, I haven't followed the Mammoth at all. I don't know how they're doing. I'm assuming they're selling out, but so maybe that's why they're looking at those cities. But
I think
I just moved from another city that can't pay people instead of making more teams.
I think Nashville's a good call because you look at the Titans, and no matter how bad they are, they sell out.
Yeah, and they fought, and the Predators do pretty well, right?
Predators do well. The Predators do well, even when they're not good. But
Yeah,
the Predators have been good for more times than they've been bad. So
I like the idea of the international. Vancouver was on the short list too, but go back to Montreal.
I'd love them. Yeah, go back to Montreal and start Pedro game 1.
Do we know why? Do we remember like any specifics about Montreal? Was it just a general like we're not getting the population? Or
There's actually there's an awesome documentary about it. I haven't finished it, but I bet Greg did.
I gotta go
So
watch it. What can you give me the primary reason? Like, what's the biggest reason? Was it just lack of interest?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm just wondering. I don't know.
pretty much.
Well, I don't know if there was like a stadium controversy or change in ownership. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and I think the ownership wasn't good. The strike killed them because they were looking. They probably would have won the World Series that year.
Yep.
I think Montreal would never lose their baseball team if they got one back. Give Canada a second team. I need more. I need more than one.
I agree.
What are we doing? All right, we got some NFL stuff to talk about, boys. Jimmy, I'm gonna pass it to you because I'm gonna take a quick break here to refresh my drink. Will Aaron Donald come back? Jimmy, your thoughts?
I think he will. I think he'll pull an Eric Weddle. I don't know if you remember this, Ryan, but Weddle came back like basically for the playoff run. I don't know if he'll wait that long. But part of it, when people unretire is they don't want to go through the grind of of the offseason routine and training camp and go through all of that. Now, Aaron Donald hasn't played in 2 years, but he's only, I think he's 35 or 36 years old. So and his body's probably pretty fresh, but he's got to make sure he's in great shape and he's got to get back into football shape and football speed. But why come? What's the benefit if you weren't going to play of coming back now or coming back too soon? Come back at your pace, miss some of training camp. But yeah, why not come back? I mean, if he's feeling good, he's still young. Scratch the itch. You've got Myles Garrett on that line to anchor it. If Aaron Donald is 75% of what he was, and you have him and Myles Garrett, forget about it. If those guys stay healthy, so yeah, why not come back for a year? It's Stafford's last year, most likely. You just got Myles Garrett. You're going all in. He's not coming back just to play. He's coming back like we could really win this. So I think he does come back. I just don't think he comes back like early on.
So I don't hate that idea. And I didn't hear about this. I just read a little bit real quick, but I'll say that Aaron Donald was a obviously gifted player, just ridiculous. And I do know that while he's been gone, is it two full years now, right? Or
just
2 years. 1 full year?
2 full years.
2 full years. But he's done some stupid shit on like social media in a funny way, like showing people how strong they are not, other things like that, So I don't question that he's probably in maybe not game shape, but he's certainly in terrific physical shape. And obviously we know that like he's a very smart guy, even though his position doesn't necessarily require smarts. He was a dominant, quick first step, just strong as an ox kind of guy. And I don't doubt that, especially if he has someone on the other side, it's going to be a great deal. The question is, like Jimmy said, what are they going to allow, right? There's not as much gelling at his position required, right? We talked about Rodgers needing to be on the field and getting gelled with his receivers. But, I mean, a DE, that just kill the quarterback and understand the wrinkles that are on the defensive line. That's about it. So, I mean, I think if he does, which I think is pretty unlikely, honestly, just because that is a grind, even if they don't make him go to all these different things, he'd be successful is my guess.
So I think it's a win. It's a win-win for everyone. There's no pressure on him. No. If it doesn't work out, it's going to fall on Myles Garrett's shoulders. So why not come back if you're Aaron Donald? Even if you're just literally playing 2 downs instead of a 3-down guy. Put him in there only when you think it's time to rush the quarterback.
Yeah, crap. Just keep him out of the first 4 games. Pay him because it's worth it, and then make him play the last 15 or 14 or 13, depending on playoffs and stuff.
Yeah, I heard what Jimmy said. I kind of agree. I don't think he's back week 1. Wouldn't shock me at all if you saw him throw the jersey back on starting in week 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's what a deal. You retire for 2 years. I mean, they were really good last year. They could have won it, but they invite you back for a year where they're clearly trying to make a Super Bowl run with 1 year left of Stafford, getting Miles Garrett.
Not only make a run, they're the favorites.
Now. Yeah, so why not? If you play 1 more year, you collect a check. Your body's fresh. You don't. Well,
he's had 2 years to recover from all the grind over his. Literally from Pop Warner through the NFL. Like. He's had 2 full years to recover and figure out what he's going to do. And he's a fitness monster. Who knows what he's benching or what his sprints are and all that stuff. But I've watched him do stupid burpee type stuff against current players, and he just embarrasses them.
Yeah, I think he's back. So we're all in agreement. We all would expect him back.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Are there odds on that somewhere? Some sort of futures?
I'm sure there is. I don't have them here. Jimmy might have them in Jersey, but I don't have anything like any prop bets like that here in New York, unfortunately. Ryan had texted me this. I put it on our list. It was inevitable to me that Russell Wilson it was time to say goodbye. I don't think he's been good for the last 3 years. And I think we've seen everything we need to see from Russell Wilson. I think it was a good time for him to walk away from the game. Good career, not a great career in my opinion. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. We'll see how that all pans out. I know he won a Super Bowl. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he was a very, very good quarterback, not an all-time great.
I think it was the right time to walk away. I agree. I do think that he's a Hall of Famer. I think Eli is as well. When I think of the Hall,
Eli's got 2.
He does
2 MVPs.
No, he does. He does. I think of it. I sort of delineate all-time great, and this could cause a debate here, and like the story of football. Like if I'm thinking of the Hall of Fame as telling the story of football, almost like Russell Wilson and quarterbacked a really good Seattle team, revived the city, the Legion of Boom, the whole thing that happened there. He did win a Super Bowl. He was really, really good. His stats, if you look up his stats in comparison to others, especially in the playoffs, they're actually really, really strong. So I think he does get in. But he went from great to bad faster than most. Like he didn't have a slow descent, right? No. I mean, he went from great to bad in like immediately. Now, I guess maybe he wasn't great at the end in Seattle. We just were like, didn't realize it because we were blaming the team. So maybe it was a little slower than we thought, but he got to Denver, was bad, and then Pittsburgh, he won games, but not because of him. And then it was obviously a train wreck with the Giants. So it's a good time. It's a good time for him to step away, and we'll see if he's a good commentator. I don't know that he will be.
I don't think he will be a good commentator, but I will say
I'm not looking forward to it. Yeah.
Most people assume I hate Eli just because I'm a Patriots fan, but I actually don't. But I will agree with Greg there that like number one, having 2, just however you got him is impressive, and number 2, those teams were not anywhere near a majority of the Super Bowl strength of players when Eli did it. That 1 year, they all 2008, they all wanted him fired. All the Giants fans wanted him benched and gone and whatever. And then he went on the most crazy second half tear that's ever happened. And then in, was it 12, I think? Again, he didn't have the same level of players. I mean, you got Legion of Boom was elite. That was one of the elite groups in the history of the NFL. I'm not saying it's, top 2. I'm just saying it's like a pretty strong unit, right? And then he had receivers and whoever else, like, a good team. So he did it once. He had a bunch of very bad seasons too, and that's a problem. And he's never been super like someone I really enjoy listening to. I'm not sure why they're making him a commentator. Not that that can't happen, but I don't know. I just don't see where that's going. But here's the thing that bothers me. I don't know what the numbers were, the offer from the Jets. How can you turn down a guaranteed bench job of $10 million or something? Like that's just in my head, I can't process that.
You know why? Because Gino's not going to be there after week 6 because he's going to suck. And why look even worse than you already have? Because you're going to have someone's going to have to go in there and play, and he's not a starting quarterback anymore.
Agreed.
Here's his stats. His completion percentage, 64%. That's pretty good. He only threw for just under 47,000 yards, 353 TDs to 114 interceptions. 114 interceptions,
A
I gotta
lot.
say, it is good. No, that's pretty
Well, that's
impressive.
not a lot. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
That seems
That's
high
impressive.
in nowadays stuff relative.
Bill,
Where Eli threw for 57,000 yards, 366 TDs, but 244 INTs.
Oh wow. Okay.
I don't know, man. But maybe we can agree on borderline Hall of Famer Jimmy, but like slam dunk Hall of Famer, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that he's a slam dunk either, but I think he has the second highest quarterback rating of all time after Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's got like the most fourth quarter comebacks since coming into the league, and he was the first. I don't know if he's still the only one, but he was the first person to throw for 40,000 and run for 5,000. He still might be the only person in that. So his stats are good. He's got a Super Bowl. He lost another one. I don't think he's a home run either. I'm not arguing for Russell Wilson being an all time great. But I think that makes sense because all Eli really has are the Super Bowls. I mean, he had a sub 500 record as a starter. He threw a lot of interceptions. He was just a great clutch player. But I think the guy won 2 Super Bowls, and it was a lot because of him in those runs. So that's, to me, that makes sense. And to your point, Ryan, it does. You're right. It's in the modern era, so it's bad. The number of interceptions. But if you look at like Phil Simms, had like a 1.5 to 1 ratio.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Like
recently.
a lot of those guys do a lot of picks.
But you've seen recent years where like Rodgers, Mahomes, whoever are the best quarterbacks are having, let's call it 35 or 40 touchdowns and 5 to 12. You know what I mean? Which is much less from when they used to.
Yeah, they're in that 3.5 to 4 to 1, but 3 to 1 still really good. I used to love Rodgers because of that. I still do, but as he's gotten older, it's not that he's throwing more. He's just completely risk averse. That's why he lost those playoff runs. Like, he wouldn't throw a ball that might be intercepted. He hated interceptions. He would never throw a 50-50 ball later in his career. They would get to the playoffs that year. They lost to San Francisco. Like, their offense is rolling along. They get to the playoffs. They can't score because Rodgers isn't letting it rip.
No, I agree.
I'm looking at it more and more. Jimmy could be right. Maybe he is a Hall of Famer because these quarterbacks seem to get the benefit of the doubt.
The problem is, though, he's totally right. In the last 4 or 5 years, I mean, he's been got off. No one wanted him. No one wanted to pay him anything. Look at the numbers from Denver and Giants and whoever the hell else.
No, he fell off
up to Gino. That is like, no offense. I would work for either one of you. I would not throw myself behind some other people if you think about metaphors with working behind Gino. Like, that's not. I don't know, man. I don't think I could do that.
All right, Jimmy, I'm going to shout out one of our friends. I would call her Officer Cregan, but she's damn near Canada, so we'll call her Mountainy Cregan.
Yeah. What are the Mountie? Mountie?
Is that what it is? A Mountainy or Surfside
or Orange
Mountainy Cregan. Yeah, Mountainy Cregan drinking a Surfside by the pool.
You guys know what orange cream is?
I do not.
There's a Genesee, which I think, if I remember right, is $13 to $14 for a 30-pack or something like that.
I used to drink Jenny Light.
Oh, yeah. And there's like an orange cream version of it or something that I've heard about, like legends, but you can only get it locally. So someone I knew, we'll call him Anthony from Connecticut, used to bring cases down in a van to have for the year.
Awesome. Jenny, I've drank Jenny Cream Ale, not the orange, but the regular cream ale.
Maybe I'm just thinking of cream ale and I threw in the orange in my head.
Oh, yeah, Jenny Cream Ale. Yeah. Yep, I know it.
Officer Cregan, hit us up at whoyougot33@gmail.com and let us know why you're drinking a Surfside in front of a big pile of wood chips, it looks like, Jimmy. You see that in the text message? You're like, what is she doing? What is she doing?
Oh, yeah, she's just sitting. Yeah. She's like in a driveway in front of a bunch of wood chips.
What are the wood chips? Our listeners want to know, what are the wood chips for?
Yeah, why do you got a big
Peanut or maple?
They look like the plain, cheap old wood chips.
Sounds like a fire hazard.
Yeah, there you go.
It does. Man, Canadians are weird. Let's move on. All right. I'm going to go here first because I want to end with the one that I couldn't believe. Did you think that Falcons pulled the trigger a little too hard here on Drake London, or do you think he's worth 4 for 150, Jimmy?
I think they pull. So I don't think they're like going to win it this year. So it's a lot of money to pay for a receiver when you're not ready to go. I mean, unless Stefanski goes in there and they figure out the quarterback situation, and I mean, Bijan's great, but everything comes together. Like, it's a lot of money to pay for a wide receiver on a team that I think at best is going to be a wild card team. likely ends up, as a 8-win team, 8-9. And
Yeah.
Drake's really good, but is he the third? I mean, and I know you just paid the next man up, but he's certainly not the third best receiver in the league.
I tell you, I knew you were going to say that. See, we're doing the show long enough where I know what you're about to say. That's a good sign. He is right now wide receiver 7 on fantasy, but 4 for 150 is a lot, in my opinion. You got Bijan, you're paying him. Now you're pay a quarterback.
Yeah, right.
Need a QB.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts had actually finally started playing football last year. It looked really good. So maybe, and Drake's had some injuries. I don't know.
It's tough to
to your point, pay a quarterback. You need somebody to throw him the ball.
Exactly what I was
you need somebody to throw him the ball.
Like, why waste the money on the back end when you don't have a front end? Because if you can't get him the ball, now you're just wasting your time.
Here's my big one. And I saw this, and it got a little steam. I don't know. Again, Jimmy listens to New York radio, so he might not even know. But Caleb Williams gets the Madden cover. I mean, I think that's a little too early. I don't think he's earned the Madden cover, boys. Your thoughts?
I wonder how they decide that. Do people turn it down? They're like, no, that's the curse. Don't put me on the cover. And it falls down to Caleb.
It's a great point, and we'll never know the answer to that because we're not NFL stars. But I don't know. I don't know how Caleb gets on the cover.
Yeah, it seems. It definitely seems
interesting. Even I don't know.
Yeah,
weird.
I mean, where would you? I don't want to turn this into a Caleb Williams trashing party, but where would you rate him in quarterbacks? Well, I mean, he's not.
Forget that.
Top
just who's
10 maybe.
Who are your interesting players? I mean, there's got to be from whatever you want to rate them in terms of quality of play. Interesting people in personal lives, best social media positions. There's got to be 40 people ahead of him. Got to.
Without you two going, I'm not saying this, but you're both going to roll your eyes in a second. If you're not going to put Joe Burrow or Josh Allen on the cover,
I'm going to get a beer.
Then I would have put Drake May on the cover. As much as it pains me to say that.
What or what?
I'm interested on who was on the last couple of years. So I'm pulling it up now. Let's see here. Josh Allen, 24. Christian McCaffrey, 25. Saquon Barkley, 26. What about Bijan? Bijan hasn't been on it yet.
No. Has JT ever been on it?
I'm looking back.
No.
Lamar, Patrick, no. Hey, Antonio Brown at 19 seems like a miss.
Yeah. Well, not then.
Let me just give you these other names, right? So you got
Odell, Sherman,
Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Antonio Brown, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Odell Beckham Jr., Richard Sherman, Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson. That's the last 12. He's not in that group. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah. Even Larry Fitzgerald and Troy Polamalu had to share in 2009. I mean, those two are pretty elite players back in the day, I don't know.
Larry Fitzgerald.
What's that?
The greatest receiver. Larry Fitz is one of the greatest receivers.
Yeah, Polamalu had the hair, and he was an unbelievable defender. Couldn't get as much high fives, but he was an amazing player.
You're talking about 2 first ballot Hall of Famers on that cover.
Right. That's what I mean, though. But how does Caleb Williams fit in there?
I don't know.
Any of those names.
I would give it the cover. Allen's probably not going to get another one, but Drake May, Joe Burrow.
Stafford. Throw Stafford on there as last year. Why not?
Good point. That's a good call, too. Stafford would be a good one. Jimmy's right on with Bijan. What about Jamar Gibbs?
Yeah,
I don't know that name.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of very good options. I feel like
Jamar Chase hasn't had a cover, right? Puka.
Yeah, there you go. That's a real.
He's in Puka's in rehab. I don't think they're throwing him on the cover.
But
yeah, that's a good point. But JSN,
yeah, there you go.
JSN just won the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yep.
It was a very I don't understand how he wound on the cover. And again, I'm not sitting here trying to bash Caleb. I think the Bears are going to have a good year. I think he's done a really good job. But I don't understand how this guy is on the Madden cover.
Yeah, it seems early.
All right, I'm going to go off topic for a minute, Jimmy, because it's happening in my neighborhood and I'm hearing it. The ice cream truck is circling around here at 348, trying to get some sales. Curious, what was your go-to on the ice cream truck, Jimmy? Back when we were
ice cream. Cookies and cream sandwich.
Cookies and cream ice cream sandwich?
Yeah.
Didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah, it was great.
That was the creamsicle, those push pop things. They come in like
a Flintstones pop?
What are they called?
Like a sherbet pop?
Flintstones pop?
No, they
Yeah,
were.
Flintstones.
They came in like a toilet paper wrapper, like the inside.
Yeah, it was a Flintstones pop.
It wasn't Flintstones. It had like weird '70s like dots all around it, but it was like
No, you had the ghetto ones. You had the generics.
grew up in Hartford people, like actual.
Yeah, everybody else had Flintstones on there.
Flintstones, yeah. So Ryan loved the Flintstones.
We didn't want to pay
pop.
for Flintstones in my area.
Yeah.
I was a big toasted almond guy or chocolate eclair. I went with those.
I did like the strawberry shortcakes back when I got strawberries.
That would be a
That
backup.
was my Catholic school bringing up every day. I got one of those, so I didn't have to go to school in Hartford.
I didn't hate the chocolate banana bomb pop. If I had to go that way, I was okay with that.
I don't remember that.
And then every time, no matter what ice cream I got, I always got, it was 25 cents, a 4-pack of cotton candy now and laters.
Oh, nice.
Good. And the strawberry Charleston chews. Do you ever have one of those?
I love strawberry Charleston, and they were always and Charleston chews were big, and they were always a little cheaper than the regular candy bars.
Exactly right.
They were.
You know what you paired them with? Do you guys remember those little hand grenades that came in like purple and orange? They were like these little plastic bottles. It looked like a little hand grenade. They were clear, and they just had like a pull top, and it was just basically like a cup of sugar.
Oh, I know.
It was a cup of sugar. It was like, did you ever have pop ice, Ryan?
What is pop ice? What do you mean by that?
Like those little, really?
Yeah, ices. We call the like triangles. Yeah, ices. Yeah,
they were like, it was like
they were great.
The juice that you would get at the bottom, that was basically what a hand grenade was.
Yeah, it was. It must have been like literally a quarter cup of sugar.
Yeah, someone said, "Hey, the kids with the pop ice, they love the end where they stuck down the juice. Let's just put that in 8 ounces and give it to them."
It was so sugary it like burned your throat. It was hard to drink.
All right. Jimmy's got a hard stop today, so I got to move this along. I apologize. I'd sit here for 3 hours if it was up to me, but Jimmy's got other obligations. All right, NBA. Let's go. Well, actually, Jimmy, give us a real quick UFC recap. Who are we betting this week?
All right, let me pull up my UFC recap. So we're gonna start with the Bilal Muhammad Gabriel Bonfim fight. We're gonna take Bonfim. Let me pull up the live odds. I'm gonna pull them up just to see if it changed, because when I said it was -110, that was 45 minutes ago. But nope, still -110. Take Bonfim. He's got one loss. Bilal Muhammad's 37 years old now. I think that he's lost his last 2 really tough opponents, but I'm gonna lay the 110 on Bonfim. Then we're gonna drop down to Brandon Allen at -185. I would bet him or pair him with Baranowski. He's dropped to -395. So there you go. So you'll probably get that close to even money. And then last but not least, go with Bryce Mitchell over Santiago Luna. Luna stepping up big in competition. Bryce Mitchell's very strong for the 135 division. I think that he gets it done, and it's worth laying the 130. There's our recap.
That's a nice toss-up to pair with something else, too, that you're confident in, that last one.
No PGA really this week. We'll get it in a couple of weeks when we get to the U.S. Open. The only thing I can say from a PGA perspective, since we didn't hit on it, is I don't really understand Bryson's digging in on trying to save Liv, but I do appreciate John Rahm saying, I don't really care. So, well played, John Rahm. All right, NBA, Jimmy. You brought it up early in the show. Knicks are getting 6.5 tonight. How do you see this one playing out?
I think either the Spurs come out just on fire and they win by 20, or the Knicks win a close game. So I'm going to take the money line plus 185 on the Knicks. They've won they've won a dozen games. Why would you stop now?
Yep.
Right? Throw the money on the Knicks. Throw a unit on it. You don't have to go 2, 3, 4 units, but don't go half. Throw a full unit. Knicks plus 185 tonight.
I would have said my best bet tonight would have been some kind of Wemby prop, because he's going to have a bounce back game, but the sports books are inflating the odds so much, I would stay away. If I'm doing anything tonight, I'm kind of with Jimmy, but you know what? I might take the 6.5, hope the Knicks, hopefully they win, because I have them in the series, but you know what? Maybe we get one of those close games tonight. Maybe the Spurs pull it out, but maybe it's just 1-2 possession game and we finally get one.
Yeah. I'll end with this. There is a chance that San Antonio comes revved up, they get ahead again like that, and you can catch the Knicks in game like plus 12, right, or plus 13, and then you take it big. So there's if you don't want to take it either way, I would wait for that because the Knicks have shown us that they're not going to quit till the end. They're going to leave the starters in till there's almost no time left if they're down. So you another angle you could play.
We got 2
Ryan,
minutes
any
on
opinion?
Knicks with the money line with a booster.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going.
Beautiful.
I think San Antonio is not admitting nor showing how deflating those 2 losses were, or that loss was. Excuse me. That's what I think. I don't think this is a bounce back game. I think that's a scenario people think. I think, based on what both of you guys have talked about, that everyone is in agreement that this is the bounce back. But actually, the Knicks are much better than we assume. And over the last 20 years, what they've done is not related to what they're going to do now. They're really strong. It's crazy how much heart they have. They go down, they come back, they just keep people down. They're fighting what we all thought was going to be an indoctrination or in possible indoctrination, and they are fighting that really well.
NHL. Do you think the Vegas wins Game 3 at home, or do you think Carolina goes up 2-1 here on Saturday night?
I think Vegas wins, and I would, at minus 112 for the home team. I think it's a home run. I could be totally wrong, but I'll be betting Vegas.
I'm going to bet Vegas too, and I'm going to pair it with something to be named. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something I'm just confident to bump up those odds a little bit. That's how confident I am in Vegas. I think they're really irritated by the other day, and they have the skill to win.
I do too. My hot take here, I don't know if it's that hot of a take, but I think we go back to Carolina with Vegas up 3-1. I think they win both games in Vegas.
Awesome.
I think Vegas wins this cup in 6.
Hey, rookie question. Do you have the ability to bet, hey, this goes 3-1 in games?
Not to 3-1, but you can bet how many games it ends in.
I know that, but you can't bet that at one point it'll be 3-1 Vegas.
No, that I've never seen.
Okay.
All right. I want to end with something else, but I always like to check Jimmy's thoughts here, fantasy football wise. Jimmy, have you started looking at fantasy rankings at all, or?
I have not.
No. All right. Well, that deadens me a little bit, but.
Well, as soon as the NBA and the NHL's over, there's nothing else. That's when you go full out.
That's when you go full fantasy.
Yeah,
that's when you go full fantasy.
So,
all right,
Jimmy, I'm going to help you out here if Greg doesn't mind. Greg, next time you ask Jimmy a question, maybe check with him beforehand so you don't go dead.
I did send a rundown of the show. That's fine.
You did. Good job.
It does help. It does say NFL.
It didn't work.
It does say NFL fantasy first look. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it's pretty easy to break down quickly when we start looking. So
I was just, the ones I was going to ask Jimmy about was they have Jackson Dart listed as QB9. Do you think that's a little aggressive, or do you like it?
So who's who? Just tell me who's below him quickly. The next.
Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes.
Yes. Our what? 10, 11, 12, 13?
So you got 10 Trevor, 11 Dak, 12 Brock, 13 Patrick, 14 Bo, 15 Stafford.
Yeah, I think he's ranked too high, yes.
12 is ridiculous.
Yeah, even Trevor.
Well, too. I mean, remember, it's fantasy football. It's not the best quarterback. It's fantasy points, and Dak is. Jackson's a runner, so he's got to get points for rushing yards.
And he's told you he's going to keep running.
Oh yeah, he said I don't.
Yeah, but
they said don't run, and he said want to bet.
Yeah.
Hey, who pays your checks?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. I get it. I think at least Dak is the one that jumps out because they're going to throw the ball, and the Dallas is going to lose, but they're going to score points, and that's good, right? And then I would probably still take Trevor based on their last season, and Trevor doesn't get hurt; he stays healthy, generally speaking, right? Where Jackson Dart, I would worry about.
He had a better season.
And then your point, yeah. So, but I think that's too high for Jackson Dart.
And then people are starting to catch on, Jimmy. I'm sad to say. So, me and you will probably. Look, I'll tell you right now. If Jimmy, Ryan, let me tell you something. I'm going to talk to Ryan for a minute, Jimmy. You can turn the camera off. Jimmy knows nothing about the fantasy football league he plays in, which is so frustrating to me because he got me to join the league and I'll ask him questions. He'll give me answers that are nowhere near. He had no clue what the payouts were. The poor commissioner sent me the list of how like it was paid out. And I was like, wait, I get what? And I was like, and then he listed the payouts. I was like, and I wrote him back. I was like, well, just so you know, Jimmy has no clue how this league works. No clue. So I think I'm drafting 10th and 11th. So I'm at the end of the first round because I won, and I'll go on the hook. I'll get 10 and 11. Jimmy, I'm telling you right now, if you want Fanning, you better draft him quick because he's already up to tight end 5. People are catching on.
He's got to be a keeper.
It would not shock me if he gets up to tight end 3 by the time this is. I don't think he is, Jimmy, because I think someone picked him up off the waivers, and what you told me is waivers.
No. If you pick him off the waivers, you can keep him, but it ends up being at like an average something. Like there's a formula to it, which obviously I don't know, but we can ask. But there is a formula to it. But yeah, I mean he's great. He's great as long as somebody throws him the football.
I am exceptionally confused.
You're telling me I can keep Goddard in like round 18 or 17?
We will ask for clarity on how it works with the keepers, but they will send the list out with the keepers. Give us time to get it back, and that's when we'll ask. Say, how does it work with somebody that was off the waiver wire? It ends up being an average of something. They take something into account.
Greg, I'm sure some of these people listen, but at the same point, what the hell are you complaining about? Jimmy or somebody invited you to a league that you won and you're dominating, and now you're concerned with the details. Like, you got to stop, bro.
Let me explain real quick. I bet 10 times what the league is worth in an NFL weekend than what it is. It's still an annoyance.
Even more reason for you to be less concerned about it.
I am. I just want to know the rules because of my competitiveness. My only concern in life is to make sure I finish ahead of Jimmy and Anthony. That's all I care about.
Well, Godspeed this year.
Yeah. I'm in a great position again. I'm going to keep A-Chain. I'm going to keep Collins.
Dude, AJ is going to have a monster year if this all works.
A huge year. I'm going to keep Collins. I'm going to keep Cook. And I get them all in double-digit rounds. And I don't know who my fourth keeper is going to be. I'm going back and forth. I don't know if I want to keep Judkins. Maybe I do. I don't know. I'm definitely – Lad McConkey's going back in the pool, boys. So anyone who listens from our league, congratulations.
We don't talk about him anymore.
Oh, fuck Lad.
All right.
I'm taking Fanning. I'm gonna scoop him right in front of – I hope Jimmy Jimmy drafts – 7th, right? You missed the playoffs, or you lost in the first round?
Lost. Yeah, I think we dropped 7th, but I'll have to look at it.
No,
I'm not quite as in tune.
Playoffs or no?
Yeah,
you did.
I didn't know. I think we were in the playoffs.
Oh
we were in the playoffs.
Both answers. He gave you both answers.
Yeah, we were in the playoffs. I am not fully in tune with fantasy football currently, but no, we were in the playoffs last year.
I mean, I'm not asking you what position you're in.
I understand. We were well in the playoffs. We were in the playoffs. I think we were
well in the playoffs all at the same time.
I think we were the third seed.
Greg's like,
all I know is you did a terrible job.
Yeah.
So Jimmy, you're saying, and I remember this. I think that you play with a partner, right? And Greg, do you play alone or do you have a partner?
Greg plays alone.
Oh,
so we didn't do a terrible job. Greg want to say.
It's funny.
Greg said. No, that's great. It wasn't a terrible job. We were right in it to the end. We were winning. We were in first place in the league for a while. We got a bad matchup in the playoffs. Things happen.
Not a bad matchup in the playoffs.
Bad matchup in the playoffs. Things happen. Fantasy football.
It's my favorite answer of all time.
But weren't you averaging, Jimmy? Weren't you averaging the most points every week? Do I remember that?
No, Greg was, but we were winning. We were top of the league for quite some time.
Yeah, he had the greatest defense in fantasy football history. He was winning games 99-70 somehow.
Listen, you play the teams they put in front of you, Greg.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, that's just like a
I said all of last year on this podcast, I've never seen a fantasy defense like Jimmy and Anthony has. I've never seen it.
But don't worry, Ryan. If we win this year, or we end up better than Greg, he won't. There will be no credit given.
Oh, I know.
It will be excuse rid.
No, that's quite clear.
There'll be zero credit. Don't worry. We'll have to hear about how he got lucky and how he got screwed, and it'll be a whole thing.
Totally.
You must have been terrible on the playground when you were a kid, Greg. Just the sorest loser of all time. Like,
all right, Jimmy, you talk a lot of shit for the guy. Let me just tell a story. This was Jimmy. My phone rings. I don't remember the year. It was definitely pre-COVID, and it was Jimmy going, Greg, I need a favor. Can you join my fantasy football league? We're short one team. Someone just dropped out. I said, yeah, sure. No problem. I get on this draft that he makes at like 11 o'clock on a Labor Day. Worst draft time ever. Him and these dopes. I, of course, win the league. No problem. And The payout, Ryan, was 0 because no one contributed. I still haven't got my dinner that Jimmy owes me from it, and that he said I'll give you because at the time
it must have been like a Men's Warehouse one they put together.
It was 100. Well, Jimmy just told you where we.
Well, we don't work. You're doing that. You don't work there.
Well, you do. You don't.
Yeah. Well, you don't technically either. There's another thing that it's called.
Sure, that's a good point.
Yeah,
that was the league we were in. Jimmy was a higher up at that point than me, and I said, "All right, I like this guy. He's a big boss. Let me join this stupid league." I win it, and then I said, "Jimmy," I said, "Oh no, Ryan, you were my boss at that point." And I said, "Jimmy, here's my PayPal. Feel free to pay at any time." And he said, "Yeah, about that."
That really is funny, Jimmy. You gotta. I mean, send him a candy cane or something. I don't know.
Fast forward 11 years, and here we are.
No.
Jesus.
I don't. You know what the best part is? I don't remember any of it.
It was your buddy. I won't give.
I'm sure it's true.
I won't give his last name, but it was your buddy Tom who was the.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Tom's league.
I remember him.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, go Knicks.
All right, that was a good show. Final words from Jimmy is go Knicks. Final word from Ryan is probably go Knights, but let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's rooting for the Hurricanes. What the fuck am I talking
Go
about?
my kid this weekend. How about that in a showcase?
I like it. Yes, right.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Kid,
This
we're
is like
Little
the
Craig.
biggest showcase
And
on the East Coast.
showcase. Look, Ryan doesn't like softball just out of nowhere. He does have a vested interest. He has a kid who is a very, very high performer in softball, so let's hope she has a good showcase this weekend. My final words is this. We didn't address that at all, but we got the College World Series Super Regionals for baseball. If you're not invested, go watch. We should have a good weekend. It's a great weekend of sports. You got the Belmont Stakes. You got the NBA Finals tonight. You got the NHL Finals tomorrow night. You got college baseball all weekend. I still think Auburn's a good bet to win the College World Series. If their pitching corrects itself after the regular regionals, I think Auburn's a great bet. We will see you next week, and we will preview the World Cup for you and give you our picks. So we will do a show for you Monday night. I'll get that posted. We'll see you then.